Welcome to the Animation Station Podcast, episode 96. My name is Josh.
I'm Hannah.
I'm Ashley.
And today we're going to be talking about the anime film, The Girl Who Leapt Through Time. So first off, I said it correctly.
Yes, you did.
I
We're
said it
on
correctly.
a roll.
Again, the audience is not going to know. See, I said again the audience isn't going to know. They didn't know that we just recorded something beforehand. So you guys don't get to listen to all the fun antics that we did.
Oh, gosh.
Maybe I can edit those and put those at the
The bloopers.
the bloopers.
The blooper reel.
The bloopers.
Have it be like a special mini episode.
Oh my gosh, it would be so long. Oh god. So first off, let's kind of go into a little bit of the fun stuff. So Ashley, how's it going?
I'm doing awesome. How are you guys?
Pretty good. What about you, Hannah? Doing all right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Just totally lost at playing a guess an anime opener quiz, but whatever.
Man. Yeah, we did bad at that. That was
Man, I
not
wish I
good.
could have joined in on that. I think I would have won.
You probably...
Very possible.
Yeah.
It was 39 minutes long. You got 11.5 seconds per song. So there was 115 anime intros to go through.
And I think we only got 37.
We got like 37. We did a really good job on the very easy and the easy, but that was about it.
Yeah, and then we were like hating ourselves in difficult and medium because we just could not remember names of anything.
Yeah, that was the worst part. So, what does everybody think about? Because we talked about it last week. On the news. But what's everybody thinking about Big Hero 6?
Very excited.
I'm pretty stoked for that. What about you, Ashley?
I actually, I haven't watched much of the show. I only watched like a little bit of the first episode, and it didn't really take me in. But I'm gonna try to give this show one more shot because I do love the movie. I've just been really obsessed with Tangled, the series, that I haven't really paid attention to Big Hero 6, but I'll give it a shot.
And then we've got the Kim Possible, like the live action. They announced the Kim and Ron for that show.
Yeah,
Yay.
I am really excited that they're like bringing it back, but at the exact same time, I'm still kind of like,
For the new generation.
yeah. So I'm hesitant to say, oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch it because it's not. I would definitely watch it if it was original casting.
I'll watch it for the lulz. I mean, maybe Will and Christy will make a cameo in it.
That would be
That would be cool.
amazing.
Oh, Chrissy could totally be Kim's mom.
Oh yeah.
And Will could be Ron's dad. It would be so good.
That would be great little cameos.
Ah, that would be so fun.
That would be
It'd
perfect.
be fun if John DiMaggio made like a small little appearance.
Oh man, if we could get all the old casts together, that would be great.
Did you watch that, like, them going into the
The
office?
audition, yes, I did.
That was fantastic.
Incredible.
That gave me life.
Oh man, how long do we hold the pose? Oh, that was good. That was a good one. So, I mean, my hope for this is that I hope it is old school Disney original movie type, like Xenon Girl of the 21st Century type.
They've moved away from that, so I don't think it will be.
They were so corny and they were so great.
Yeah, it's like I still...
Like, do you remember Brink?
I remember all of them. Luck of the Irish.
Luck of the Irish. Oh, God.
That was my personal favorite. And...
what was that one about where they bowled?
Oh, I was thinking about that movie like 3 days ago, and I cannot remember the title
Alley
of that.
Cat. Alley Cat Strike. Oh,
That's what it's called.
What a garbage movie.
But see, they've moved away from that because it was like Camp Rock was kind of like the first film that they released because High School Musical was kind of still in the old school Disney vein,
Yeah.
and then Camp Rock was kind of like the emergence into like new Disney Channel movies.
And then they did like Lemonade Head, and now they've got Descendants.
And that kind of stuff.
everything
So like
down.
it's so different than what it was when we were kids that I think this will be
Yeah, because I mean, when I
Totally
grew up, we
different.
had That's So Raven, Corey in the House.
Corey in the house as I was exiting.
Oh yeah, I was out by then.
I was on the way out.
But I was out by then, but I still had cable.
So it would
So
still
I
hit.
was like, it was one of those where it would be like 2 a.m. I'd be like, dude, Corey in the house, eh? Sure, why not? That was when they were like, because that's when they would show like all of the weird old stuff, like when they would do like Emperor's New School. That would be on there.
Oh, I haven't thought about that show in forever.
It's all right. You don't have to ever think about it again. It wasn't good.
I still like to
I hope
watch it.
that this Kim Possible live action movie has a good budget. It look good.
Yeah.
That would be great. Like if they could get some of that Descendants money, because Descendants looks good.
Whoa, yeah. Just like in costuming for that. I hope that they're not just throwing the Kim Possible thing out there for nostalgia's sake, because I'm getting really sick of people using my nostalgia as a money grab.
Yes,
and so I really hope that they don't do this with Kim Possible.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Well, my biggest fear is like our generation of people will not like this movie because it is so different, and they'll like harp on these poor actors and be like, it's not my Kim Possible, blah blah blah.
It's okay. It's
type of stuff. I hate that.
It's like what Ashley said. It's for the new generation. Let new people try on these roles. Just don't shortchange these characters and this story and this world just because they want to make money off of kids who watch that and now have money.
As long as they don't go too overboard.
Yeah. As long as they stay true but with a new face, I'd be fine with that.
I hope they don't change. I mean, I kind of hope they do something with Sadie's hair. Give it a little bit more, like, more orange.
They
like make her more of a ginger.
Yeah,
because it looks like she's a brunette.
That's why I loved Kim.
Oh yeah, actually, you may not know, but Hannah is, one would say, what was it? Oh, it's Game of Thrones, Kissed by Fire.
Oh yeah,
the things that you don't watch.
I don't watch Game of Thrones, but I'm a fiercely proud redhead. I'm a fiercely proud redhead, and when you start messing with my characters with the red hair, I start having problems.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, so it's like it's not the same as level on some other I have a lot of vocal things, so don't mess with the fact that she's so different. She was surrounded by brunettes and blondes, and then there was Kim.
Well, the blondes were like on the cheerleading squad, and they didn't matter.
Well, Kim was also on their cheerleading squad.
And then there was that black-haired woman who was always mean. She was also green. So
Shigo. I'm really excited. It's like I'm trying to be like positive and excited about it because I want to see it come back for like a new generation to have Kim to look up to.
If they do Shigo and Dragon, do you think they'll make them green and blue?
They've got to.
Maybe they'll try to make it look a little subtle, not make it look too extraordinary, but or too much with their color schemes. Make it look just like a little similar. I don't know. I'm too scared for the trailer. Come out, maybe sometime next year or maybe later this year.
It's Disney. Get the person who did Gamora over and do Shigo, because Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy always looks great.
Why don't they just bring Zoe Saldana?
Do it!
That would be great.
I would watch that in a heartbeat.
But it's literally just Gamora.
I think I'd actually be more scared if Gamora was coming after me as a supervillain than Shigo.
I don't know. Shigo's got the glowy hands.
But Gamora is like super assassin.
But the glowy
I can almost
hands.
see Star-Lord as Ron Stoppable, just like kind of flirting with her. Because Ron did kind of have a thing for Shigo.
Yeah.
He did.
So my thing is like if this goes on and they do like a series with this, I would like to see them add more of the people. Like Monkey Fist. I would love to see Monkey Fist.
Monkey Fist is my favorite villain in that show.
I love Monkey Fist.
Who's the Spanish
Oh, senior, and then senior, junior.
Yes.
They were my favorite.
I love them.
They were my
So
favorite.
who would you do as senior, since we can't do Ricardo Montalban, unfortunately.
Oh my god.
May he rest in peace.
Man, I'm trying to think so hard.
Cheech.
Did you say Cheech?
Yes.
No.
No.
That is awful. Get out of here. Get off the show.
No.
Take your headphones out. Get out.
No.
No, not Cheech.
What about Benjamin Bratt, who played Ernesto de la Cruz in Coco?
Ooh, Benjamin Bratt would be really good. Well, then who's senior, junior? Because he's not. I mean, he's a junior, but he's like
He's older.
an older junior.
No, but how old is Benjamin Bratt?
50s, I would say. Oh, we're missing the obvious choice. Frickin' Puss in Boots himself.
Antonio Banderas.
Got-
But he's busy with the
Spy Kids.
with the Picasso genius on, I think it's National Geographic. So he's kind of already booked.
Well, I'm pretty sure if Disney was like, "Hey, we want to put you in something,"
Nah,
he
he is too
Disney
good for
money.
that character.
He's too.
Nah.
Oh man, no. Well,
No.
yeah, that's a tough one.
There's so many options.
And it's one of those where they're not gonna put him in like right off the bat. 'Cause
no.
I mean, even though because he's the most sympathetic villain because he's not a villain.
No, he's not.
He's just rich and has nothing to do.
And he just wants to do things with his money, and those things happen to be bad.
exactly.
And
It's like, what do you mean I cannot buy this? And you're like, no, you
be
can't.
a teen pop star.
Oh man. But I love that episode where he and Ron were fighting over hair gel. That's probably
God,
one
that's
of my favorite Kim
faves.
Possible songs.
see, that
Songs,
show
shows,
is just so
episodes, Lord.
underappreciated, I think. That
And they got to do the Naked Mole rap.
well, yeah.
Gosh, it's like I can just imagine them butchering that song like to make it sound like today's rap and hip hop and
Oh,
everything.
no.
It's like
Kanye pops in.
Oh no, Ashley makes such a good point. I'm terrified now.
I don't think they'll do it. I don't think they'll do the Naked Mole
Hopefully,
rap.
or maybe they'll do like a little.
or maybe what would happen is like Ron will start rapping it and then someone will cut him off saying, "No, none of that."
Just stop it. Stop.
Kim's just like, "How we've talked about this, Ron." No,
Oh man. Okay, so enough Kim Possible.
we've talked about that for a long time.
Yeah, we ran it into the ground. So let's go with The Girl Who Leapt Through Time. All right, so we're going to go ahead and read the back of the DVD, which this one's actually pretty cool because usually like with the majority of the Disney ones, it'll show the 2006 epic by Mamoru Hosoda was engineered about a girl who leaps through blah 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 blah, directed by blah blah and all this crap. But this one actually pretty good. So it's The Girl Who Leapt Through Time. After waking up late, flunking her pop quiz, embarrassing herself on numerous occasions, and starting a fire in her home economics class, high school student. Should I do it how they say it in the
Makoto?
show?
I'd stick with how they pronounce it in the film.
So film pronunciation, not like Japanese pronunciation.
Yes,
please.
we're gonna go 06 pronunciations.
So Makoto, Kono figures she's just having one of those days. Just when she thinks she's made it through, the brakes on her bike malfunction, putting her on a collision course with a speeding train. The life-ending accident with blah 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 blah. Yeah, okay, I'm kind of done tired of reading this. The life-ending accident would have been the perfect end to the worst day ever, but the strangest thing happens. She leaps backwards in time. After unlocking her new ability, Makoto does what any teenager would do. She retakes the test, corrects embarrassing situations, and sleeps in as late as she wants, never thinking that her carefree time traveling could have a negative effect on the people who care about her. By the time she realizes the damage has been done, she'll have to... oh my gosh, this is so small. She'll have to race against time to set things right. My gosh. That was,
very
like,
long.
really,
Just
really
like
small.
rewind time and do that all over again.
I wish I could. I wish I found the cool... what was it? Was that like a walnut?
Oh yeah,
I
it
wish
was
I found the
walnut.
cool walnut that gave me cool tattoos on my arms that will tell me when my time's running out. But this is a 2006 Japanese animated film produced by Studio Madhouse and directed by Mamoru Hosoda, who has done
Who is like a genius.
amazing work
He's a genius.
with Summer Wars, Boy and the Beast, Wolf Children.
Wolf Children.
Fantastic stuff. And this is one of his. Oh, and we can't forget everybody's favorite, the Digimon movie, which kind of forget that he did, but it is literally the exact same as Summer Wars.
Summer Wars, yes.
It's just Summer Wars. All right, so let's go first impressions.
Okay.
So this was my first time watching it.
Oh, was?
Yeah.
I could have sworn that you had already watched this one.
No, I bought it and I was saving it for AniMay, and because I bought it in, oh god, that would have been like October.
Oh,
and
okay.
It was just like sitting there the whole entire
Oh,
time.
all right.
So Ashley, have you seen this before?
Yes, I man, I feel so old because it's like 10 years old, and my friend got me into this back in my freshman year in college, like 2007 or something, and I watched it, and oh my gosh, it's still one of my favorite anime movies ever. I love time traveling movies because I love Back to the Future and everything, and I cry every single time I watch this movie. The ending is just so amazing. And I love the characters. I love the animation style, and I love how the colors are like slightly desaturated, like just very simple, and but except for the time leaping sequences, and they're like very CGI and colorful. And I love the characters and the comedy. The comedy is so it's great. And I love the pacing. It's very great.
What about you, Hannah?
I watched this like back in '08. I went to go visit some friends out of state, and they were like, "Have you watched this movie?" And I go, "No," because who I was living with and where I was, I didn't have a lot of access to anime things, and so we watched it, and I remember loving it. So I was really excited to get to watch it again because I couldn't remember so much. Of it, so I was really excited to get to watch it again and remember the parts that I genuinely did like, because something that Hosoda does so well is characters. Just characters. I love all his characters, and that's one thing that I really take from this film.
And you can definitely see his like his style
in
this film, because like you said, Ashley, like whenever you're in the real world, it is kind of almost that muted aesthetic. But then whenever something happens and like we do like a go through time, then we get this really cool color sequence. So like whenever I think about it, I think about Summer Wars, because Summer Wars is a beautiful film.
It is. It's gorgeous.
And it's nice in, one specific color palette whenever we're in the real world, but then when we go into the virtual world, you're like assaulted with color and all this the CG, and it looks so good. Same thing with Boy and the Beast.
Oh yeah,
because like whenever he's in the real, like wherever in the real world, we have those muted, but whenever he's in the I can't even remember, like the other world where all the the monsters and everything are, it's all bright and shiny and colorful.
Yeah.
So I like the way that there is a consistency in his storytelling and in his movies, which I'm really hoping that we get the same thing with Mirai, that is supposed to be coming out soon. I believe that comes out in the fall, which is his next film. Which, again, conveniently has a little boy who... I'm trying to remember what I remember from the presser that they put for Mirai, is you got a little boy who he's getting a sister, but he's like 4 or 5 years old, so... It's like, that's like, I don't want a sister type thing. But then this girl comes from the future who is his sister, and she's a high school girl. So I think that's going to be a really cool premise. Plus, the kid that they show in there, he's like dressed super cool, and I'm like, man, that kid's got more style than I do.
Sounds awesome. I'm totally excited for that.
I love his stuff. Okay, so I guess we can kind of go over the cast. We have Emily Hurst as Makoto. We have Andrew Francis as Chiaki, Alex Zahara as Kosuke, Christy Marsden as Yuri, Natalie Walters as Kaho. Then we've got other people that are voicing other things. So what did you guys think of the voice cast? Which Hannah and I talked about this when we went to go get dinner, but it does seem like one of those, like, I wouldn't say it was a film that was done by like almost like not even like a major studio.
Yeah.
Because there are some translation errors that get a little bit weird.
Yeah.
Like, especially in some name pronunciations.
Yeah, it was first licensed by Bandai, but they're gone now. So I think it was cast in Canada. And,
yeah, because
I think
Emily
it was like
Canadian.
Ocean Studios or something.
Oh, Blue Ocean?
Or, no. It was
No, not Blue Ocean. I think
it
Blue
had the
Ocean's
word
already
ocean in
debunked.
it, but it was in Vancouver.
Huh. Because that makes some sense, because if it would have been like something from like Sentai or Funimation or anything like that, we would have, there would have been, more pronunciation, because like it's one of those where some characters say it one way and then some characters say it the other way. Mm-hmm. So you can tell like the voice actors didn't really, like, some of them knew how to pronounce it and then some of them didn't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
Like there's Chiaki, and they call it, what else do they call him? Chiaki, and then there's Kyosuke and Kosuke. There was a Kosuke once, and I was like,
"Oh
what
God,
is
okay,
this? Like, what is this word?"
Who is this person? Because it's not the person that I know.
And then I think Kyosuke calls her Makoto.
Yes.
But then like Chiaki's and like her family's like Mokoto.
Yeah, her
so
dad
it's
is
really
always
weird.
saying Mokoto. Yeah, the dad is always saying the Mokoto.
Oh God, it's so bizarre.
It is. So like I was watching it last night. I was like, oh my word.
I've only watched the English dub like maybe a couple times in my lifetime, but I always watch it in Japanese because it's just so beautiful, and just like the comedic parts are played better in Japanese, and it just still makes me laugh. But I always try to watch it in Japanese.
I try to give, like, when I watch anything that has a dub, I'll give the dub a shot. Like, for me personally, I prefer dubs over subs, just because I'm not really good at reading subtitles, especially on an action type. Like, Attack on Titan was unbearable. Like, it was one of those where it was ridiculously hard to read. This, since there's not a whole lot of action that happens, I think this may be something that I could possibly watch.
There's not a whole lot of dialogue in this film, kind of either.
Yeah.
So this would be one that you could probably watch the subtitled version of, because really a lot of the talking
wasn't too
is
hard
between
for
her
me.
and Aunt Witch and Makoto. I just stopped myself.
You mean Makoto?
Makoto. Between Aunt Witch and Makoto, that is actually where most of the dialogue kind of is.
Yeah, and until we get to like the end when she's talking with Chiaki.
Yeah.
And then we get all that exposition.
Between like where he's from, his story, and her trying to figure out how to solve the problem that has suddenly erupted in her life. And yeah.
I just want to point out one thing. Of all the characters in this whole entire movie, Kosuke's my favorite.
Kosuke's the best.
I love his design.
Me too.
I was like, you could be my husband.
He is a handsome man.
Please, sir, marry me. You're so pretty.
I think that's one thing I love about this movie is the body language of the characters, because there's so much there's so many scenes that are just like framed with a little bit of music in the background where it's like glimpses of them around campus.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like not a whole lot going on. Kids are sitting around reading books, they're talking, and there's not a whole lot of action. Everyday life. It's not really action packed. I think that kind of just sets up for what she's doing, makes it so fantastical. And his body, or like just the body language of the guys versus the girls. So as soon as someone walks across the screen, I go, that's totally a dude, because they've got that like slouched, hands in the pocket body language. And I love that there's such a distinction of body framing from the males and the females.
It reminded me a lot of Samurai Champloo.
Oh,
like,
totally.
The way that, the characters walk in that.
Yeah.
And same thing with Bebop. like
with Spike's kind of swagger.
Which makes sense because it's the same director. But yeah, like the way that they walk, like you can tell like that's a dude walk.
Yeah.
And like that is they got somebody to sit there and, walk back and forth, and that's what they did with him.
Yeah, I love that, like the curvature of the spine and how the legs are slightly forward, and then Makoto's kind of like her own entity because she's not like feminine like all the other girls.
Yeah, she's a tomboy, so she has the mix of the two.
Yeah, and I love that
as compared to the other girls that are
like Yuri, her friend,
exactly,
and he is like a girl, like what you would consider like a stereotypical Japanese girl. And then you got Makoto, who kind of defies those norms. I love that.
They do a gag with Makoto that I'm just gonna keep doing it.
Every time I heard that, I was kind of like, why?
They do a gag with her, and it's a running gag throughout the film where she is constantly getting injured.
I love it.
Like, I know,
but
it's
like I think
to the. Sorry, go ahead.
I think there was one time I was watching the movie and I counted how many times she would have suffered from a concussion, and I think I got like maybe 20 or 30 something.
Yeah, it's one of those where I'm okay if you do it a few times, but then it's constant throughout the whole entire movie. Mm-hmm. She is constantly getting hurt.
I love the bit where she goes through like the one day over and over and over again, like where they go to the karaoke joint.
That one's
and
good.
Then it's her trying to get out of his confessional. I love that bit where she just like rolls across the floor.
Love that karaoke
she rolls
scene.
a
That's my
lot.
favorite.
I loved the rolling sequence. I loved that sequence. I thought that was just so fun. They're like, you were here and now you're there.
Like, weren't you just nope?
Nope.
And I like stuff like that. Like that's fine, but it's one of those where it's constant. Like she's constantly like she's getting hit in the head by Chiaki, or there's a baseball out of nowhere. She's constantly running into stuff. People get thrown on her. It's one of those where it kind of wears me down, because if we hadn't had that much of her getting hurt, and then when we get to her last leap, and she's running through trying to stop Kosuke and Yuri when they're on the bike.
Yeah.
And she's like, she runs into that woman, and she's all, scraped up and bloody. Like, that, to me, I really like that scene, because you can just see the desperation.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, like, that hit home. I was like, oh, man, this is real now. And she knows, I can't bring it back. This is it. This is the only thing I have.
Yeah.
So, like, to me, I really like that, and I think it may have been more powerful if she wasn't constantly getting hurt.
Like, if it was like a...
Gotta land somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she doesn't know where exactly she would leap to. Like, it could be a wall or something, or a trash can.
Yeah, it's true. Because, like, I just draw comparisons to Your Name. Because, like, really, there's no injuries at all in that whole entire movie until she's riding on the bike and then she falls. Or the bike's gone. She's running and then she falls, and, like, she, like, rolls halfway down this hill, and then she, like, looks at her hand, and that's when he's like, I love you, and everything like that. And to me, that is one of the best parts of that movie, because, like, you see the desperation on her face, too, and you just see the utter sadness and happiness at the same time. And then with Makoto, you just see the dread that she knows what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And, like, to me, that's one of my favorite scenes in the whole entire movie. Just because that's, like, one of the first times that I actually got choked up in this until we get to the end. And in the end, like, stabs me in the heart. So...
The big farewell.
The big farewell.
Oh,
the big
gosh.
farewell.
I cry like a baby as much as Makoto did. Like,
I
know. And the last time I watched this movie, I was just watching those two characters. And Chiaki was like, hey, by the way, I want to tell you something. And then it's like, it looks like he's going to confess to her, but he doesn't. And I'm like, these stupid anime characters. And then tears just started rolling down my face. Like, these stupid characters, like, just The typical couple just doesn't want to tell each other how they feel.
I actually got really angry. I didn't get, like, emotionally upset at the end. I got angry at the end. I'm like, this isn't how it's supposed to go! And it's, like, late, and I can't really yell at the TV, but I'm, like, doing my silent scream, trying not to throw things, because it's like, this isn't how it's supposed to be! You're supposed to be together! Getting just all angry.
Let's okay, since we're still on the story, let's just stay with the story, and then we'll get to, animation and music and
sure,
after
yeah.
that. So, since we're on the story, let's just go ahead and skip to the end.
Okay.
Because we have the parts where, like, the main reason that she starts leaping a lot, because, like, she has her fun, and then the main reason she starts leaping a lot is because of Chiaki,
yes.
She confesses.
And she doesn't know how to process that.
Exactly. And that just, you can kind of see where it kind of breaks her a little bit.
Yeah.
Where she's like, oh no, Makoto.exe does not know how to function right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that part where she's just like, so, have I told you about my sister?
Like, but I really like, my sister.
My sister's really annoying. She doesn't know how to, because, her, Kosuke,
and Chiaki, they've only been together for like a couple years.
It's not that long.
Yeah, I think he says it was a month, but it didn't feel like a month.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those because like they start off when they meet, they're in their middle school uniforms, and then they go to their high school uniforms.
Yeah.
So there's at least
because he said
6 months
he was supposed to be back before the end of summer. So I think he got there like at the end of 1 year, and it's not yet the end of the next.
Okay, so
from what I understood, I don't know if that's right.
Which doesn't make any sense because who cares? Because you can time travel. Who cares how long you're there? Because literally you're like, all right, so I leave, and then you just come back the next minute.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why that like matters. Well, no, I guess it would, because, I mean, if you age in the past and then you come back to the future and you're 17 and then you come back and you're, like, 28.
Yeah. Well, from what he made it always sound like is that he didn't have, like, camaraderie like what he did. Like, in the future, it sounded like he just didn't even have friends. Didn't know, like, how friends worked.
Well, yeah, it's like a desolate wasteland where there's no baseball.
And so he goes back in time and he meets Kosuke and Makoto, and he like gets that companionship for the first time. So it kind of makes sense that he would lose track of time because he didn't want to maybe miss out on any time with these people.
Well, I like how like the first thing that you show of him is he's
about to like beat
well, no,
up.
he already beat up these
everything.
dudes. I'm like, so you literally went back in time just to beat some people up? That's cool, bro.
He's probably frustrated because he couldn't find the painting.
So he just takes it out on some.
Why
some,
not?
Like,
Or maybe he
kids?
just didn't know how to react to, like, the people, like, he doesn't know, and then is like, oh, yeah, it's like, you think you're better than everyone else?
Yeah,
That's
I
highly
can see that.
possible. Yeah. But I loved his character.
So yeah, that's the whole bit with them is since he's the time traveler, she gets a walnut, and
I almost think that because he said that everyone in the future time travels. What if it's because of Makoto?
how?
Because she kind of discovers it in the now, right? Like, really starts to experiment. Okay, I can literally leap through time and adjust and change things. So what if she's trying to get to Chiaki and she starts really experimenting with time travel and starts off the chain of events that leads to everyone time traveling
And leads to like
the end of the world
sucking.
Yes.
Sure.
That's
Way
where
to
mine
go,
goes.
Chiaki.
That was her
Way to
motive.
Her motive is to get to the love of her life. That's her motive, not to get to the end of the world.
Let's talk about the love of her life now. So I'm cool with Chiaki. Chiaki's a cool dude.
I love his
I
character.
love Chiaki.
Like, we see Makoto, and the grin that would come up on his face, and you'd be like, hey, Makoto, and then go towards him.
It's very much like, hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. I loved that. I love the three of them, in all actuality.
Yeah, like, I could watch a whole series with the three of them just being bros.
Yeah, just throwing the baseball around.
That would make a good series. Just like, tick, 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 tick the whole time.
Like
just
a new,
throwing.
was it Azumanga Daioh?
Well, no, because that's just weird. If it would be like Tomo-chan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the manga.
Yeah.
Because that's basically the same thing, except kind of the reverse. Where she likes him, but he's too much of a meatball head to be like, hey, it's just the reverse of that.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
No, but I love the three of them. I think Kosuke is such a great character. He's like, what are you going to do? Like, why don't you get a girlfriend? Then you'd be all alone. And you just feel that love, actually, that he has for her. It's like, I'm not going to leave you alone. I'm not going to do that to you. I go, oh, how sweet is that? That's actually where I got a little emotional, in all actuality. That bro-ship that they have, I loved it.
Yeah, they're like, because, he and...
They've been friends for years.
They've been friends forever, yeah.
Yeah. And I just love that.
Oh, childhood friends never win.
No.
Unfortunately,
but I don't think he had a thing for her.
No, I don't think so.
So I think, it was just like he loved her like what a brother would love a sister. Mm-hmm. Just like, I'm going to watch out for you. I'm not going to leave you alone.
And you guys need to study because you suck.
Yeah, basically, I can't believe that idiot beat me on a test. I got to study. I love that was his excuse to the girl who confessed to him.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've got to spend more time studying. The idiot beat me on a test.
I do like what we'll talk about. We keep meaning to talk about Chiaki and Makoto. But
and we keep going back to Kosuke.
I do like what they do with this series of like everything that Makoto does, or Makoto, or Maki. Everything that Maki does has a consequence.
Oh yeah.
And it starts off like simply with the, hey, will you swap with me so I don't drop the tempura in the hot water and blow everything up. Yeah. And then that leads to
the massive bullying.
Massive, yeah. And Yuri getting hit with a, because if we think about it, her doing that on day one leads to Kyosuke and Yuri getting hit by a train. Yes. Because if we follow that timeline, then that's what happens.
Oh yeah, yeah, and it just goes to show you it's like time cannot be tampered with, and I love how very last leap that Makoto does is she goes all the way back to the very beginning when she discovered the walnut, and it's like everything is as it was. And she learned from happened with her bike that her brakes don't work. It's like, well, no one's going to get on that bike anymore, so everybody's alive. Everything's all in well.
With her, yelling at Kosuke, if you ever take my bike, you owe me 5,000 yen.
$50 is nothing to laugh at.
And he goes, what? And she's like, 5,000 yen. He's just like, okay.
I won't do it, I guess.
But I do like the scene between her and Chiaki, which is I know everything. He's like, why would I tell you everything? Yeah. And she's like, I'm not going to tell you that Kosuke dies, and that's why you tell me everything. I'm not going to tell you that, so that you tell me everything. And I like that scene between the two. He's like, man, why? And he's trying to tell me what happened that makes me tell you everything. And
I did love the twist that they do in this one, where since Chiaki uses his last jump to
save
Kosuke. To save Kosuke, to save Kyosuke, then she never used her last jump.
Right.
I thought that was brilliant. Yeah. That blew my mind. I was like, oh, you're right. That would happen. She wouldn't have used it. Good job, film. But
ooh.
Yeah, I love that. And then when she figures that out and she's like, oh, snappy.
I'm going to do it
now. Yes. I can fix all of this.
I think that's one reason why I love Hosoda's films, is that they're so smart.
Yeah.
Definitely. The littlest thing completely changes the end of the story. It turns everything around. Little things that you would not have thought of, him going back in time to save Kosuke gave her back that one more jump. And so you wouldn't have thought that until she like looks at her arm and it says 01. I loved that little touch. And I love those touches in his films. Because it's always like something so small and inconsequential until it's needed. And I love that little, like, that writing detail in his movies.
It's so good. And then, so she uses her last jump, and she goes and confronts Chiaki.
Yep.
And then my heart shatters.
Everyone's heart shatters because the ship stopped blowing holes in the ship.
Oh, man. It's one of those where I understand why they did it, because you have to do it like that.
Oh, yeah.
Because otherwise it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, because he can't stay. It's already been established that for whatever reason, he cannot stay in the past.
Yeah, he has to go back.
He has to go back.
Yeah.
People argued about that. It's like, well, why not stay longer? Why not just stay longer and wait for the painting? And then I thought about it. I was like, well, maybe he went to see this painting to maybe see if it'll some hope for to go back to his lifetime and or timeline and everything will be okay. But it's like his new hope is now Makoto. Found like a bunch of happiness in where he traveled to. It's like, okay, well maybe the painting doesn't matter anymore. But that's just my thought.
I think that's a good thought, though.
Yeah, because I mean, if she said, "I'm gonna save this," so well, you'll be able to watch it in the future.
Yeah,
or look at it in the future, not watch it. You can't watch a
I'm
painting.
really curious to know like how far in the future he is.
Probably a few hundred years.
You think?
Yeah. For time travel to get working, I mean, they didn't get time travel in Star Trek. You had to fly around the sun
and go through wormholes.
So.
Well, there was one thing I wanted to point out if we're done with talking about Chiaki.
Never.
Well, I just wanted to point out that this movie is actually like a spin-off of the original 1967 novel, The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, and Auntie Witch, Makoto's aunt, actually identified as Kazuko Yoshiyama, who was the main protagonist in the novel. And she, it's the movie like kind of like parallels with the novel because Kazuko actually meets this guy who is from the future, and she talks about him in the movie. She doesn't know exactly where he is or what he's doing, and he actually like erased her memory because he told her about this time leap, and that's her knowledge on what the time leap is, and she talked about it with her niece, and so it kind of like parallels with it. And I think they said that her boyfriend was like from 2000, and it was like way ahead of time. So it could be like very ahead. Yeah, that's something that I just wanted to point out.
I didn't know that it was based, that the book had anything to do with that book.
I did not either, and I want to read the book now.
Yeah, that seems really interesting. I'm gonna have to find the book.
Mm-hmm. I'll have to find
Well, the same thing happened when I watched Howl's Moving Castle. I didn't know it was a series, and now I'm like, I want to read the series.
So good.
There's actually a live action, a Japanese live action movie, The Girl Who Leapt Through Time.
It was on Netflix.
It was on Netflix.
It was on
called,
Netflix.
Like Time Traveler.
No,
or
it was
something like that.
still A Girl Who Leapt Through Time.
Yeah, but I thought it was like Time Traveler, The Girl Who Leapt Through Time.
Maybe.
Something along those lines.
Yeah, because I remember going, ooh, because I remember watching the animated film, so I was like, oh, I'll watch this, and then I never got around to, and I feel terrible.
So what did you guys think of the animation?
Beautiful.
I've already talked
Absolutely
about it a little
beautiful.
bit. I love it.
It's fantastic.
Again,
I love the
Hosoda's
flow of the
style.
animation, and it's like everything's like not too fast, and it's like very simple and basic. And like I said, slightly desaturated colors, and oh my gosh, it just
Yeah, it's very pretty. And again, it's Hosoda's style. So you get like, and I just love the way that all of his characters have like a resemblance to each other.
Yeah.
Not as much as like Ghibli, where it's like, oh, this character is basically this other character.
Yeah, where you have like a style and then like slightly change for
faces.
each
But
film.
but with his stuff, you can tell like they all live in like they can all be part of the same world.
Right.
Whereas, I mean, it's like stuff with like you wouldn't really say like somebody from Ponyo would be in Mononoke
Right.
because like it's two different, completely different styles.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
But with this, like any of these characters could have been in like anyone in The Girl Who Lived Through Time. Totally could be in Summer Wars. Who could be in Boy and the Beast.
Yeah.
Because like everybody has the same aesthetic, but
Same as school uniforms, kind of.
yeah.
Well, I mentioned it before. I just love how the bodies move. Like, how, like in the scene where Yuri is helping the guy who's just gotten sprayed by the school bullies, and he sees Makoto off in the crowd, and he moves around Yuri, and the way he, like, smiles, like, just the way his body moves in that scene. I was just like, wow. That's, like, I'm not an animator by any stretch of the imagination, but just the way his body moves in that one scene really like struck me, like how it flows. It's just the movement is just so smooth. So smooth. I just love it.
Yeah, it's I really like this film.
Yeah.
Like if I was gonna put this up there with my Hosoda films, it's not to me Summer Wars is still
Like peak.
the peak.
Yeah.
But Boy and the Beast is right up there. But I want to like this would be just because of the fight scenes in Boy and the Beast. The fight scenes in Boy and the Beast are phenomenal. But story-wise, I like this story better than Boy and the Beast. But the animation and the action Boy and the Beast, kind of tops this one.
So they're kind of like on the same level, but just for different reasons.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like I think they would both like be up there. In
They're
my
all
two
different
spots.
themes.
Exactly.
Like each one has really interesting, like strong points. Like the artistic rendering of all the avatars in Summer Wars, I just love. And you know me, I like color saturation. So Summer Wars is just like eye candy for me.
Yeah.
But it's just there's something about. Sometimes I complain about like the pacing of Girl Who Leapt Through Time because there is those stretches of normalcy, I suppose, in between like her perceived jumps. And for me, I just feel like that is really just part of the theme of the story that they're trying to tell. So I just love the storytelling in this one. I just think that it's just such a well-crafted story and so well executed that I think that if they had changed anything, it would have ruined it a little bit. Like, shortened up those long sequences where nothing really happens, it would have messed up the overall feel of the film.
Yeah.
There were a lot of scenes that took its time.
Yeah.
But they all had a payoff at the end.
Exactly. So if they
yes.
changed any of that, it would have ruined the payoff.
Like, yeah, to me, like, I wasn't, like, sitting there, like, looking, like, I wonder how much time this movie has left.
Right.
Until we got, like, to the end.
And you're like, oh my
and I
gosh.
was like, I wonder how much time this
There's
movie has
not
left.
enough time for this all to be resolved.
Like, remember the scene when she is, like, running the jacket and it took, like, a full minute, just like...
Oh, I love how that is framed. I love how that shot is framed, about how you can tell when she gets winded. And so she moves out of frame. And then you can tell where she starts pushing herself. And then she starts going out on the other side of the frame. I was watching that and I go, I love how that animation is set up. Because you're in that moment of desperation with her. And instead of just moving, like you see her running down the street, or it's continually, she's in the middle of that shot. You feel her desperation as that frame moves. I want to be able to tell a story like that. Just so well done. sometimes I hate people like those. So it's just like, I love this, but I hate it.
What did you guys think about the music?
Oh my gosh, I love the music. Like, I still have those 2 insert songs on my iPod, and I just love it when they start playing. It's so beautiful, and I love the piano music.
Yeah, that piano music is like top notch.
Yeah.
The music just around the school and like those shots where like they're playing volleyball.
I love how you can always tell. I love an anime. It's like you can tell they're out of school because you will always hear the sound of a baseball hitting an aluminum bat.
Yeah.
That is in every anime. When
I
they're
love
like,
it though.
And it's usually like after school.
Yeah.
When they're like, is it after school time? Dink. Yes, it is. Okay, it's time for after school.
It's just so many, like, I loved, like, in the moments of the scene where Chiaki's basically saying goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh! Oh, the music and
yeah.
just how like it just grows silent, and then there's a crescendo. Like, oh
Of
my
all the
god!
noise.
And that was when
Yeah.
a lot of tears started coming down my face.
I do like what they do, like, because they do a lot of good stuff with this film, like especially when Chiaki first says goodbye, like when he's in the crosswalk,
Yeah.
and then like whenever time starts again, music just abruptly stops,
Yeah.
and then it's just all of the sound of everything around Makoto. I love that.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite, one of my favorite parts, like music wise in this movie, because I'm just like, you get all this, everything is happening, and then like, boom, cars, people talking, walking by,
Yeah.
and then she just breaks down.
Yeah.
You know what? In that very scene, did you guys notice that like there were the 2 people that were on that bike just passed?
Yeah.
Like after Chiaki left, it's like it like kind of like just flashback to that scene when he like first like asked her out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh my gosh.
And she like watches them ride by, and like in her body, again, her body posture, you can totally
She kind of slumps a
she
bit.
kind of slumps a little bit more, and you can see that's hitting her that he's gone, and that she's not going to get to have that.
Yeah, it's really tough.
Yeah.
Man, that single life.
Oh, I forgot to mention her sister. I love her sister.
Oh,
when, like,
yeah.
she eats the pudding, and then she thinks her sister, like, she's gonna, like, die. She's like, don't go, I'm sorry, it's your mom, I'll buy you a new one.
And, like,
it was like,
oh, no,
do you
look,
want
no.
me to come with you? He's like, no, it's okay.
When the alarm goes off and her sister's just standing by the bed fully dressed.
Like,
Gosh.
get up.
She's like, why didn't you wake me? I thought you were going to just wake up earlier.
It's so bad. I've never had a smaller sister, but is that a thing that happens?
Yes, that is a thing that happens. As an older sister to 2 younger siblings. Yes.
No,
But I'm
the only
usually the
child.
one standing by the
Same,
bed.
yeah.
I'm
We
usually
didn't have to deal with that.
I'm usually actually the one like, why are you still in bed? And
So you're the younger sister.
I am
Do you
techni-
eat their puddings?
I eat their pasta that sometimes they live in the fridge too long.
Yep. That's what I thought.
I love Japanese pudding. So delicious. It tastes like
never had
flan. Like,
Ooh.
oh my gosh,
No,
like
I
a
have to
custard,
love
like
flan.
and the syrup in it. Oh, it's so delicious.
I'm already hungry.
Oh man, but
Cravings.
We had Freddy. Okay, so I guess let's go ahead. Anybody have any more thoughts on this?
I need to buy it so I can watch it again because I feel slightly bad with how I watched it. So I need to buy it so I can.
Oh, you technically watched it. Well, it was on YouTube.
It was on YouTube, but that's also because I went to 3 different locations to buy it and could not find it. So, last resort measures. It is now in my Amazon shopping cart to buy because rewatching it, it's like yes, I need to have this movie.
Nice.
I mean, it's still forever my favorite Mamoru Hosoda film and just anime movie. It's always been my favorite for 10 years, and I still cry over it. I still love it.
This is one that has aged well.
Yeah.
Because there was that mid 2000s where you can know it's like, oh yeah, this is an old anime. This is old anime, early mid 2000s. It has those feels. This does not have that feel whatsoever. This film has a feel that it could have just come out in like the last year.
Yeah, it's definitely, and that's the thing with his films.
They age
like, they
so
age,
well.
Like it's because they're so stylized.
Yes.
It's they will age phenomenally. Even Summer Wars, like
Oh yeah.
like the CG aspects in that, they still look really good because like they'll do CG, but then they'll still blend it with that same animation style.
Yeah.
So you'll have the CG that will blend. Same thing with Boy and the Beast. Like Boy and the Beast has been out now for almost 5 years.
Yeah.
And it still looks phenomenal. So like just like his stuff, like honestly, it will be timeless.
Yeah.
Like it will stand the test of time for a long time.
Yeah, because I was like, how old is this movie? And then I went and looked it up, and I was like, oh my word, it was back in 2008 when I watched this for the first time. I'm like, huh.
Oh man. Okay, so let's go ahead and go down and rate this movie.
Okay.
So Hannah, Ashley, I don't think you've been on our rating system yet. So we do a rating of 1 to 5, but your rating system is based off of like an object. Like I'm Dipper Pines, so like 1 to 5 Dipper Pines, like 5 being the best. Hannah, what are you?
I'm Moon Wands.
You're Moon Wands because Sailor, blah blah blah. So think of one that you want to do for yours.
Well, how about you go first?
What?
And
Yeah,
I'll
I'll
go, and then she can have a moment to think.
Like your rating system.
Yeah.
Like I give this 5 pascals.
Gosh.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, how about you go and I'll go? And
Yeah.
Now
she
you're
has
making me
she'll
want to do a
have an extra
Tangled
second
reference.
to think about it.
You don't have to do a Tangled reference. You can think of whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
I'm gonna give this movie a solid. I feel like I give it 4. It's not good enough, but I don't have any problems with it. So I'm gonna give it 5 Dipper Pines.
I knew you would go
because
with 5.
like thinking about it, it's like there's not a part of this movie where that I don't like.
Right.
And like I think it, other than the end, I am a sucker for the romance. So if they would have gotten together, it would have been icing on the cake.
That would have been a 6. Oh, that would be an 11 out of 10.
Oh yeah, it would have gone straight to 11. We would have gone Spinal Tap on this. But yeah, I mean, if a movie makes me want to watch it again, like right after I watch it, that's always a great film.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it 5 Dipper Pines.
All right, I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 Moon Wands. Only because I know that there's a reason why the pace is slow in parts of the film. It's just slow in parts of the film for me.
Okay.
I know that there's a reason for it in the whole structure of the film and the structure of the story. I know there's a reason and a purpose for the slowness of the pace in certain parts. It still bothered me a little bit. So that's why I give it like a 4 out of 5.
Okay. What about you, Ashley?
I'm still trying to think of a good name. Like
it took me a while to think of something.
You can do stars for right now if you want to give it.
No, I'll do this. Okay. Decided to go with Narwhal Blast. Is that
nice.
a good one?
Narwhal Blast is good. Yeah.
Okay. Well, because I've known this film for a long time, and I'm completely biased with this movie. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody says. It's still my favorite movie. So I give it 5 Narwhal Blasts.
Awesome.
I mean, okay. So there are, some flaws in this movie. There's a lot of things that are not clearly explained, but just because this movie still makes me cry, like really deep in my heart. So, 5 Narwhal Blasts.
Nice. All right. So I think we did a good job covering this. What about you guys?
I think so.
Yes.
We gave our positives. We gave our negatives. We gave our ratings. So yeah, I think we're ready to lay this puppy to bread. To bread. Let's lay it to bread. We'll
First you messed up the beginning, and now the ending's like, okay.
It's so bad.
It is happening.
All right. So Ashley, where can everybody find you?
Let's see. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Plus en Vue. And you can also check out my website, ashleysaylor.com.
Awesome. And Hannah?
You guys can always find me on Instagram at asillyred, and I'm not that active on Twitter, but at sillyred is also my handle there.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh L. Kane. You can find the podcast on Instagram at Animation Station Podcast, on Twitter at Animate Podcast. We're also on Facebook and Tumblr at Animation Station Podcast. You can find all of our episodes on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, and on our website, animationstationpodcast.com. Be sure and like us and subscribe. Leave us a comment on iTunes, because that's how we move up the ranks so that other people can hear our wonderful dulcet tones.
Yes.
And maybe we'll go through puberty on the next episode. Who
Maybe.
knows? Maybe one day. And remember, guys, we are in AniMay, so stay tuned for Friday's episode. That is going to be episode 97, May 18th, where I sit down with voice actor Megan Shipman, and we talk about all kinds of greatness. She's fantastic.
I'm so excited.
Oh, okay. So for the Animation Station Podcast, I'm Josh.
I'm Hannah.
And I'm Ashley.
Bye-bye, little butterfly.
Chogi-wa.
We didn't tell Ashley to come up with a sign-off.
You totally
God darn.
Well, looks like we're going to have to do it again. So for the Animation Station Podcast, I'm Josh.
I'm Hannah.
And I'm Ashley.
Bye-bye, little butterfly.
Chogi-wa. Come up with something for next time.
Yeah, I'll think of something.
Hello and welcome. That was a bad one. Like, hello, everybody. I'm going through puberty.
Oh, you try that
Hi,
again.
you're pretty. Okay.
Take 2.
Hello and... Nope, see, it's that again. It's like, hello, pretty lady.
I'm gonna keep
Will you
cracking
please-
up.
Oh. I don't know why I'm doing hello and welcome.
Hello and welcome to the Animation Station.
Hi, everybody. It's the Animation Station.
Josh is just a wee bit under the weather.
Golly. Can you do me a favor? There's
See?
some testosterone in the fridge. Will you get that for me? I'll just
Take a
just,
quick
take a
shot.
shot real quick.
Help yourself out just
My
a little
gosh. Welcome everybody to the animation. There we go, big boy voice. And then I
bit. Continue on going. Continue.
No,
Just keep
I was so
going.
happy. I was so happy.
Just keep going.
Welcome everybody to the Animation Station Podcast, episode 96. My name is Josh,
I'm Hannah.
and today we're joined again by... Oh, yeah, that kind of cut you off there. We'll just start all over again. We're doing fantastic, guys. It's like we've done this for years.
Threw off my intro.
I know. I don't know why I did. It's one of those
I'm
times.
Ashley, guys. Hello.
See, you don't sound like you're going through puberty. There we go. Now we hit the puberty mark.
Yay. Okay.
Oh yeah, you came out.
I can't.
Oh no, we.
It all came out.
You moved and you destroyed all the stuff.
We are on a roll.
There we go.
Oh, we're back? We're back.
Do you want to get a little bit closer?
Maybe.
So you don't break the
Maybe
headphones?
I should. Let me scoot.
We're a professional podcast. We've done this 96 times.
No, I love
Actu-
this. I love this.
Actually, you know what? We've done this. This is actually episode 114 because of all the interviews in the cartoon cafes.
That's right.
So we've done this 114
and
times.
then not to forget the couple of aborted ones that we did before you ever actually started airing those
Those were
episodes.
bad. Speaking of bad, welcome to the Animation Station Podcast, episode 96. I'm Josh,
I'm Hannah.
I'm Ashley.
and today we're going to be talking about the Studio Ghibli classic, The Girl Who Leapt Through Time. But first,
Not
how's everybody
Studio
doing?
Ghibli.
What?
It's not.
Oh, it's not Studio Ghibli.
Yeah,
Not
I was
it's
gonna say.
Mamoru Hosoda, Josh.
No, I'm not gonna cut it. We'll just keep it in there. I'll just sound like an idiot. So, how's everybody doing?
Doing real well. How are you?
I am right. How you doing, Ashley?
Not so good.
Oh man. So yeah, the audience won't know about all the trials and tribulations that we started this episode. Some of us went through puberty, and it was great.
Oh gosh, this is gonna be fun.
Oh yeah, get ready for an unhinged episode. Okay, so first off, let's go talk about the news.
Sure.
So there was a lot of news that came out, and we didn't get to do a news segment last week because we had our Star vs. the Forces of Evil episode.
Right.
So no anything last week, which kind of sucks. But news-wise, we have. Actually, you know what?
What?
We don't have news because this
Are
is
you
on the
prepared for this at all?
I am not. I'm not. I don't know anything. I thought it was a Studio Ghibli film.
All right, I quit. All right, bye guys.
Well, we did because I forgot My Neighbor Totoro comes out. We're recording My Neighbor Totoro tomorrow, so the news will be on the My Neighbor Totoro episode. I forgot what day this comes out.
Let's just start fresh.
Oh my gosh, I quit. I'm out of here.
Josh
Bye.
is walking away. He's taking off the headphones. He's getting a drink of water, and I think he's gonna go run around the block to see if he can clear his head, and he'll be back.
Ew.
Okay.
It'll be okay, Josh. It will be okay.
We should do some actual not be stupid people.
Okay,
God.
so
What an idiot.
Good luck.
let's start over.